like, Tom Hunter, that the new recording doesn't have that voice says this meeting is being recorded.
It did.
It did?
It does for non-hosts and co-hosts.
Okay. So, Lonnie.
I turned it off to where hosts and co-hosts didn't have to
hear
anymore.
Well, y'all still here. Lonnie, I'm going to let you let Barbara Goodman in. So I made you a co-host. So I want you already did it. You did it. So you know how to do it. I don't have to.
No, I did not do anything. I didn't do anything.
Okay. All right. Margaret let her in. That's okay. That's okay, Margaret.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. We're happy to have Barbara in. We'll practice that a little bit more.
And so that was normally when I do a Zoom, I see, and I uncheck the waiting room because I want people to be able to come in, my cook managers and stuff. But if that gets not unchecked, it's that waiting participants. I'm going to see that come up in as a host, I would see that come up and then I would just say admit. Is that what we're talking about?
Yes. Do you know how to do that already?
Yeah, I do know how to do that already.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, then we're not going to worry about it. Hey, Barbara Goodman. Good morning, Barbara. You are on mute. That will either be at the bottom.
Yep.
All right. We're so happy to have you here. We're happy to have everybody here. I'll make sure you all know everybody. We have Erica Covington Ford with us, and y'all know, all of you all know Erica. She's one of our fabulous training coordinators. In fact, she's our newest one. She's been here, over almost 2 years because we've lost track of time because of the pandemic. And then Leslie White, y'all know Leslie. Margaret Schaff, our other training coordinator. We're so lucky to have the best training coordinators. They take such good care of everybody. And Tom Hunter Pratt. Barbara, you know Tom Hunter, don't you?
Yeah, I think we did a personal.
You all did a test run together.
Yeah.
So multimedia specialist, without Tom Hunter Pratt, we wouldn't have virtual training. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So what I would like for everyone to do before we get started is to pull up your chat box and your participant list. And the way to do that, if you need any help with that, your toolbar should be at the bottom of your screen. Hey, Tom Hunter, I locked my toolbar so they wouldn't disappear when I shared. I did that on my own this morning. I'm just really proud of that. Any victory is so, I mean, we've all just celebrated little things. I can't even tell you. So if you will make sure that your participant list and your chat box are up, do you all see those? Tom Hunter, you probably explain this better than I do. When I am co-hosting, I typically don't have my screen in full screen view. If I'm using one screen, so that if you exit full screen, that way you have, and if you have gallery view, then you have everybody's tiles and the participant list in the chat box. Is everybody seeing everything like that? Did I explain that well?
When you talk about that, Lisa, you are just talking about the bar at the bottom.
At the bar at the bottom. And when you're sharing, that bar moves to the top. But yes, the bar at the bottom.
Well, I have my chat box to the right, but
do you want me to explain the difference between full screen real quick?
You sure can. That'd be great.
Okay. I'm going to share my screen for this, and whenever I share my screen, I have it enabled to where you all can see my Zoom controls. Now y'all won't have to worry about this. I've got a setting turned on. So you're going to see my Zoom screen. You should. Do you see it? See my Zoom controls, my mouse and everything? Okay, so first of all, what Lisa's talking about, whenever you become a presenter, this control bar at the bottom moves to the top. Now it doesn't, you see it both places for me, but when you all share, you're not going to see it at the bottom. You're just going to see it at the top once you become a presenter. So just know that. Now with full screen mode, if I click view in the top right, I see it says exit full screen right there. Now that means I'm in full screen mode already. So I'm going to click that. All right, I'm not in full screen. I know I'm not in full screen because I see my close, minimize, and full screen button here in the top left on my Zoom control panel. If you're on a Windows machine, you'll see that in the top right, I believe. When you're not in full screen, you can click on the Zoom control panel and move it around to get to the desktop. and you can also minimize it as well. So if I need to minimize it to do anything in the background, I can do that. And I can go back into the Zoom control panel and maximize it. Now, even though it's maximized, even though it fills the screen, I'm still not in full screen mode because I can move the control panel around. Now, when you are not in full screen mode and you click on the chat box and the participant list, they're going to dock to the right-hand side, and they're going to stack on top of each other. And it's always going to stay here. No matter where you move the screen around, that's where that's going to stay. Now, something different happens when you go into full screen mode, and I'm going to do that. I'm going to click on full screen.
Is it just me, or am I the only one that can't hear? And I've got my computer on as high as I can go.
Here, I'll turn my volume up. How about now? Is that better?
It's much better.
Okay, good. All right, so now I'm in full screen mode, and I know I am. 2 reasons: because it says exit full screen right there under view, and also I can't move the Zoom control panel around because it's filling the screen, and it takes precedence over everything else. It takes priority. Now, when you click on participants and chat, once you're in full screen, those windows become floating windows you can move around. So this becomes useful if you have 2 monitors. You can drag them to the other screen if you want to. And it doesn't take up any other area on the right-hand side. So instead of being over here stacked on top of each other and making everybody else smaller, it becomes little floating screens that you can move around. And so if you have dual monitors, you can drag those onto the other monitor and get them out of the way, which I'm doing right now. And so that's the difference. Now, there's one other difference when you're in full screen mode, and I'll close these so I can show you. And I don't know if it's, let's see, yeah, speaker view. So when I go to speaker view, it whoever the active speaker is going to show up full screen right here as you see me. I'm the active speaker because I'm speaking, and then the rest of your video tiles are a little floating window right there. So that's if you are in full screen. It becomes a little floating window. Now, if you move it to the top or to the bottom, they will stay horizontal. But if you move it to the left or to the right side of the screen, they'll change to a vertical orientation. And it's only going to show, what's that, 1, 2, 3, 6 people at a time. And you've got arrows at the top and bottom where you can cycle to the next group of people. But you've also got some view icons in the top left here. You can go to grid view and then expand that to show everybody. But that takes up a lot of space. If you've got dual monitors, you can drag that to the other screen and see everybody in gallery view on one side and then the active speaker on the other side. And then you've also got, that's called thumbnail view, what we were in. You can go to active speaker, which that's kind of redundant at this point. And then you can switch to just who's talking. Those are just view options when you're in, what is this? Speaker view when you're not in full screen. When you are in full screen, I'm sorry, we were in full screen. When you're not in full screen, these just stay docked at the top when you switch to speaker view. And so that's the difference. So the main difference is when you're in full screen mode, all your little panels are kind of floating on the screen where you can move them around. And when you're not in full screen, they're docked. They're kind of docked on screen. You can't move them. So everybody got that? I know that can be a little confusing. Zoom gives you so many options with your views and things like that it becomes a little difficult to explain all the different views. But those are the differences between being in full screen and being.
Tom, can I ask you what your recommendation is when we're in full screen? Should we move the chat box and the participants if we have a dual screen over?
I would. Okay. I do that. I stay in full screen and I move I stay. So let's see. I'll show you what I do. All right. I'm in full screen and I usually stay in gallery view, and then I'll pull up chat and participants and I'll move it to I'll move it to my secondary monitor.
Okay.
And that way I can see everything over there without obstructing my view. Now, if you're sharing a PowerPoint presentation, if someone's sharing a PowerPoint presentation, it'll look a little different, as we'll see here in a moment. But the function still stays the same with full screen mode. Your screens are still going to be floating around.
Okay.
And you can move them. So yes, I recommend full screen and then moving your chat box, your participants list over to the other monitor if you have dual monitors. That's the way I like to do it. Now, all these views are up to y'all, what you'd like to use. I'm just telling you how to do it, or what options you have. But that's what I like.
Thank you, Tom Hunter. I thought you were on mute, and I looked at my So if you're wearing headphones and you can't hear all of a sudden, usually it's this little dot. But I can't tell when and you don't have any warning. So anyway, if I interrupted you, Tom Hunter said you're on mute. I apologize.
No.
I was
Can I ask-
apparently on mute.
Can I ask Tom Hunter a quick question?
Sure.
I'm trying to save this as my background all the time, but I notice when I come back, it goes back to the other, and I don't see a save or anything on there.
All right. So there are a couple options you have. One, we can look at the settings later in your Zoom account, and we can see if we can change that to be permanent. Number two, usually when you set it and then you go and do something else for a few days and log out or whatever, and then come back to it, it'll stay there. But
Okay.
but you've got to be logged into the Zoom client.
Okay, no big deal. I'll figure it out. I just thought it was a quick fix.
Are you logged
Okay.
into your account in Zoom? You're on the desktop client.
I think so.
Okay, and then it should stay. And if it
Okay.
doesn't, it could mean that you've logged out. That it could do
Okay.
that. We'll test it out.
Thank
Speaking
you.
of that background, if you like this background and you want to use it, you don't have to. We can send it to you, and you can add that as your Zoom background. So just let me know. So does anybody have any
Great.
questions about your view options? Yes, ma'am.
I was able to get my chat over on my second monitor, and I was able to get my participant list over there. And then you look away and you look back, and they're not over on that other monitor anymore. Why do they pop back to the laptop?
They shouldn't.
You have
They
stumped.
So Joanne, look down. What happened was, to be quite honest with it, while you were talking, Tom, I did move mine over, and then I clicked on an email, and then they dropped down into my toolbar where my Zoom. So if you click back, so
Oh.
I have two
It should.
monitors, and that's what happened. So I see my little Zoom camera on my monitor that I'm not on this with, where I dragged over my participants in chat. I clicked on that on the bottom of my toolbar, my little icon Zoom camera, and both the chat box and the participant box came back up.
Okay. Oh,
See,
so-
do you know what I'm saying too? Because I dragged it over to my other monitor where my email is open. So of course I was tempted to look at that email that just came through. And I took my mouse, and as soon as I touched that email, those participant and that chat box goes down. And as soon as I go back to that blue camera on the bottom of my toolbar of my second monitor, that chat box and participant box comes back up.
I must have my personal settings set to where all my Zoom windows stay on top. Because
Okay.
if you open up any Zoom window or anything and then click on something else like a web browser, it's going to
Yeah.
bring the web browser in focus, and all your
Right.
Zoom panels are going to be behind it. But once you go back and click on Zoom again, it'll bring everything else back into focus, and you'll see everything on top.
Mhm.
I think I'm trying that right now, and that's not happening for me. I may have set my settings to where it doesn't do that. So
All right. And sometimes too, I've had this happen when I first started doing this. If I was not presenting and I'm like a co-host and I look and I can't find my Zoom has disappeared, everybody's disappeared. If you're down on your toolbar, and I'm thinking, oh, and you're trying to be cool when you're doing it. You just click back on that little blue camera and it pops back up. You don't know the panics I've had in the background. So anyway. And also remember too, if you're on camera, whatever facial expressions you're making, that shows too, so.
Oh, something that I don't think Zoom's done it yet, Lisa, but something that's coming, and we may have to enable reactions to do this. If you give a thumbs up or a thumbs down or raise your hand, it's actually the emoji will pop up. It's actually gonna read your hand signals and
In your real hand, like your.
yes, your actual like.
Well,
if you
fun. I
raise your
can't
hand,
wait for that.
Or if you give a thumbs up.
Wonder
it'll
what they'll
show
do
the-
if you move around. You're like all of a sudden emojis. We'll talk
It'll-
about
it'll
that,
put all of them
especially
up there.
someone like me who talks with their hands. So I'll probably have emojis flying everywhere. All right. So everybody comfortable with the views and how to pull up your chat box. And so you all are already ahead of the game. So I'm going to just, let's just go over. I'm going to share my screen.
I do want to
And-
ask, when you said that you locked your toolbar, what did you mean by that?
I locked it to where,
Here,
to
let me
where
show-
it won't float around
I'm gonna show that
when I am
setting.
sharing my screen. Do you want me to stop? Okay.
I'm going to show you what I mean. So easy way to get to that. If you click on up arrow next to start stop video and click on video settings, it'll bring up your Zoom settings right here.
Mhm.
And I think it's under
Actually, it's under the audio settings.
Okay, under audio.
Look at me.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, I'm
I know.
impressed, girl. You're
I know.
impressive.
Y'all should be
You can do it,
impressed
I can
because
do
I
it.
know nothing. Go to general.
Oh, I see. Oh, yeah. You can get to it through audio settings or video settings. It'll
Okay,
take you to the
sorry.
same spot.
And then it was always
Right
show
here.
meeting controls. Yeah.
Yeah, that one
Okay,
under general.
that one, okay, because right, when you're not, then they go away and you gotta hover your mouse over
Oh,
to find
and if
it
you have
drives
a
me
crazy mouse, it's crazy.
And so if you use the dual monitors, what does that do for you, Tom? When you click,
That-
if you clicked on the dual monitors?
That's separate. Well, it puts me in a separate. Puts the active speaker
Oh,
in a separate
okay, okay,
screen,
okay,
and
yep, yeah,
then
no.
gallery view in a separate screen. I don't
Okay.
use it.
No, that's too much. We don't like that.
Now, if you've got a PowerPoint presentation that's being shown, it'll put the PowerPoint full screen on one side and gallery view on the other. So that's useful. I just never use it. I use side by side.
Okay.
What you'll see when Lisa starts sharing, it puts the presentation on the left and the video tiles on the right, but it's all on the same screen. If you do dual monitors, it'll separate them on two separate screens.
All right. So you all see our little agenda for today because we're gonna practice some things with that. But first of all, I wanted to go over really quickly when we talk about co-trainers and duties of co-trainers. So if you haven't co-trained yet on a virtual training, what we do is we assign 2 trainers to the virtual topic, and your contract will say Joanne Robinette and Joanne Robinette will co-host, will co-train a certain topic. And then you all will get together and decide who is going to do what. We don't care. So that your contracts are exactly the same and you'll receive the same rate of pay. So if it is say the training's over 2 days, or you're doing a AM session or a PM session, a lot of times our trainers will, take turns. One person will present and the other person will do all of the background things. We call them co-hosts. I don't know if that's the correct term. That's just what we have started calling it. So the duties of the co-hosts include assigning, helping to assign co-host and host privileges. We'll talk about that. Clearing annotations, pasting links and information into the chat box, pasting documents into the chat box, clearing reactions, operating and setting up the breakout rooms, and maybe launching the polls. The trainer can do that, but you can do that as well. And just maybe kind of monitoring the chat box in case any questions come up, or if anyone's having some issues with Zoom or seeing things, if you might can provide some help with that as well. And what we have been doing is when we have 2 trainers assigned to a virtual training, the ICN's coordinator or staff person assigned to your training still has to start the Zoom meeting because the Zoom account is under ICN. So we still have to start the meeting. So we'll start the meeting, and prior to your training assignment, you'll find out who your coordinator is, who's going to be working with you. So that person will get on and start the meeting, and you'll have their cell phone number or email address. And if you have any issues or questions during the training, that person is going to be on call for you. So we will get on with you and start the meeting and just make sure you're really comfortable. And then we'll leave when you are ready for us to leave. So we also send out prior to the session. Tom Hunter just told me he lost power. So thank goodness we had him when we did. So anyway, you all will make sure that you're comfortable. So anyway, prior to the training, everyone is going to get a copy of your bios. And they're also going to get a link to a pretty detailed 10-minute Zoom tutorial. And so we will send that out prior to the training. So what we do ask you to do, just like if you're doing a face-to-face training, you get on, and then I'll send you a little blurb about ICN. We just welcome everybody, thank them for coming on behalf of the Institute of Child Nutrition. And then you all can just kind of do a brief introduction of yourselves, however you want to do that. And then, they've already received a tutorial. You could do one of two things. If you're real comfortable with Zoom, you can just highlight some of the features of Zoom. We also have a shorter video that you can show that's tutorial. So that would be up to you. So those are just the duties of the co-trainers. And, if you have any questions or anything, you can ask me or one of our training coordinators, whoever you're working with. But so far, this has gone really well. Yes, ma'am. Yes, Joanne.
When we had our training the other day and Tom Hunter came on at the very beginning, and then he explained about the controls at the bottom of the screen and the annotate and things like that. So is the person that opens our training going to do that? Or are we going to assume that people have watched their tutorial?
We're going to assume people have watched their tutorial. Now, I will say this. Sometimes Tom Hunter does get on early and he might do that, but we can't count on him.
Okay.
So it's just, but they have had their tutorial. So, and they are, people are getting more comfortable with it than when we first started. So, people are a lot more familiar with it now than they were before.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So, like I said, we've talked about the duties of the co-trainers. We've talked about the Zoom options. We're going to skip down and talk about annotate for a minute since we already have this screen up. So you all should be able to go to the top of your screen, not the right-hand side, but the center. You should see something that says view options. I don't know if you all are familiar with the annotate feature. People love it. And so just wanted to make sure we're all very comfortable with it. So when you click on that drop down menu, you should have something that says annotate. Does everyone see that? And
No.
so I'm sorry.
Yes.
No, I have only two things: original size and exit full screen.
Okay.
No.
You should
You're
be
looking at the view options where it says you are viewing Lisa Rogers' screen.
I am.
Next to that is a view option. You're correct.
Right,
That's the
that's what I
tab you're
clicked.
pulling down.
You should have a drop down. If you don't, you might have a more button or three little dots.
I'm looking.
Okay.
I have settings.
Okay. Are you looking at the,
I'm looking at the bar at the top.
uh-huh. And you should see something that says view or view options in the center, not the right-hand side, the center. You should see you're viewing Lisa Rogers' screen and then view, and you should be by drop
I
it
did
down.
it. I
You got
clicked on it.
Okay.
And
And what,
the only two things it gives me is original size and exit full screen. Do you want me to hit one of those and see if it changes my options?
No, that's not the toolbar that I'm looking for. Could Margaret or Leslie or Erica, could you tell them what you see at the center? Because I don't see the same thing to get to annotate.
Joanne, not Joanne. Barbara, are you on a Mac?
I am on a Dell Chromebook.
Okay. Right in the center,
I don't know
at
if
the very
Chromebook-
top.
Let me check.
Yeah, maybe Chromebook may have something different. But there's a green box that says you are viewing Lisa
I see
Rogers'
that.
screen.
Yes.
And then right beside it is in the black
Says
box, it
options.
says view options, and there's a little arrow. And you
I
click
clicked
that,
on that.
and you should see zoom ratio. You should see
No, I don't see any of that. That's why I'm thinking it might be under settings.
When you click view options, what does it say?
It just says original size and exit full screen. And I'm looking for your.
I'm texting Tom Hunter. Sometimes Chromebooks do have a couple of other little things. Are
Different,
you,
yeah.
Barbara,
Yeah,
are you
she-
going to be using Chromebook when you present?
I am, and the only reason I am is because my regular screen does not have a camera on it.
Uh-huh.
So I can bring it up on there, but I could not see, you couldn't see me and I couldn't see what was going on.
I'm gonna Google real quick.
Miss Barbara, I already did that. Miss Barbara.
Mm.
Wait, you said there was a settings tab at the top as well?
Yes.
Okay, so according to Google, you have to make sure your settings tab is enabled. They said that the default is disabled. So click on the settings tab.
So I clicked on settings. It says video, audio, accessibility, statistics, and about. But underneath there, it says my video, enable mirror effect.
Okay.
Then it does say meetings, always show video preview dialogue, and hide non-video participants. That's it.
Okay, according to the Zoom Help Center, it's saying that your
I'm sorry,
option.
Eric, I can't hardly hear you.
Okay, hold on. Can I share my screen, Miss Lisa?
Yes.
Okay. So
Do you
can
want me to
see?
go out of settings?
I wanted to ask you if you can see on this screen where it says if the option is grayed out, then it has been locked at your account level.
You
Because-
want to? I still can't hear you. You want to see if what?
Hold on, let me turn my volume up. Okay, can you hear me better now?
I can.
Okay, so if clicking on that setting and enabling it did not work, it's
Right.
saying that if it's grayed out, like it's not, like you can see it, but it's not an active option, then your accessibility may be locked.
Okay, so it is not grayed out. It is checked in blue, and it looks as though it's enabled.
Okay, so here, do you see a dialog displays that asks you to turn it on?
No, you just either you can click it on or off. That's it.
Okay, did you click to turn it on?
I did.
Okay, well, let's go to the next.
It was on when I went to settings.
The only other thing is, it looks like, are you signed into Zoom? Like through the?
Yes, yeah, same one you are on.
Okay. Well, Miss Lisa, I don't know about that. This is
Well-
from the Zoom Help Center.
What if I went to accessibility? Would that be it?
I don't see anything.
I don't. I'll tell you what. Hopefully, Barbara, Tom Hunter can get back on. He's lost power, and so.
Lisa, what is it exactly we're trying to do so I can see if it falls into one of these categories?
Where I'm just trying to show you all the annotate feature. But Chromebook is a little different.
Okay. When I hit accessibility, it does give me different things that I could possibly do.
Okay.
You tell me what it is you're looking for.
Annotate.
I don't see that.
Okay. I'm not sure, and this is really beyond my little limited IT support. So let's go ahead and try to move on and see if there's some other things you can do. And when
Okay.
Tom Hunter gets back on, he can put you in a breakout room. Y'all can go in a breakout room and he can try to help you with this. Okay. And if not, I don't know, because I'm just not sure. Thank you, Erica. That was very impressive, by the way, your IT
Good.
support.
We have to try something.
I know.
I'm
I
gonna
know.
drop this link into the box in case anyone else want to look at it. It's just the Zoom Help Center sheet.
Mhm. Thank you, Erica.
We'll get it to work.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to share my screen again. And so at the top, do the rest of you all see the annotate feature? Okay. Are you all pretty familiar with it? You may or may not. Okay. So people love to annotate. So when you go to annotate, you should see some options. What we typically use the most are text and stamp. and draw. I think we're using draw in food safety in schools where you draw on that thermometer. So I would like for you all to go to the stamp feature and click on a heart. Look at you all. Click on a heart and maybe put by the one of the things on the agenda that you want to learn today. We just want to practice. Okay, so everybody's put their stamps up. So one thing that you want to do when someone annotates and you move to the next screen, if you don't clear it, the stuff is going to stay on the screen as you move through your presentation. So the way to clear it is at your toolbar, and I want Joanne to do this. So everybody's going to get a chance to do this. So if you go all the way to the right, Joanne, y'all should see a trash can. And if you click on it, it says clear all drawings, clear my drawings, and clear viewers drawings. So Joanne did that. Okay, y'all, go back to the stamp and click the star and stamp on that little. So Lonnie, do you see the little trash can on the right of that toolbar? Clear all drawings. So you want to clear all drawings. There you go. All right. Let's stamp with the check mark. Fun. So click your check marks. Y'all got your check marks going. Okay. Nancy. So if you go all the way to the right, you should see a trash can that says clear, and you want to clear all drawings. All right. So are y'all pretty comfortable with that? And you can also use the text feature. And sometimes instead of doing a whiteboard, you can put a blank screen. So if you take the text feature, you can go onto the screen and type. And then once you type, when you start typing, you should get a text box. And then you click your mouse and it stays on that presentation. And if you all want to try that, you can. There you go. And so sometimes, it's a wonderful way to get interaction and feedback. If you want to ask people to either put a heart or a star or a check mark or text on the screen, or you can text as well. They can put information into the chat box. You can copy it and put it in the text feature as well. So there you go. All right. Well, one of the wonderful consultant trainers, please clear all those drawings. All right.
Now, Lisa, is this something that we have to have for tomorrow, for Monday, or is it something that's just to enhance the program?
Well, there is an activity that people use the draw feature on that little thermometer.
Okay.
So if you go to the draw feature, I think it's where they do draw on that little round thermometer, the temperature danger zone.
Okay.
So just when they do that, somebody will need to clear it. And I just wanted you all, and Joanne or whoever, that I just wanted you all to see how to clear the annotate. And I will tell you, people love the annotate. Once they start annotating, they don't stop. And we had a training where Trish Mouser was the trainer, and they started, they used the heart. She had a list of things, put a heart by what you want to learn or what you already do. And then when she started speaking, every time she said something they liked, they put a heart on it. And so it was such good feedback. And then when we put the QR code up with her training evaluation, they put hearts all around it. So it was such a wonderful organic moment. So anyway.
So it would be advantageous if I had that. So what I can do is after we're done with the session, I can get technology to see if they can show me where it would be on here.
Okay. That would be
If
great.
Tom doesn't come back.
Is everybody pretty comfortable with Annotate? It's a lot of fun. All right, Tom Hunter did come back, but we might put that on a parking lot, Barbara, so we can go through some other things. Tom Hunter.
I got the concept. I just need
Right.
the tool.
Tom Hunter, Barbara has a Chromebook. And so she was not able to access the annotate feature. And so either, just something that she may ask you about, or you all can go in a breakout room and help her with it when we go through some of the other things.
I can wait till we're done also.
Okay.
I've got plenty of time.
Okay.
You're my life today.
Oh, well, that's always good. Okay. So there are different ways to interact in our trainings. And so another way is the reactions button. So this is a wonderful way if you're doing true, false questions, yes, no questions, or you just want to see if everybody's awake, you can use this. They can also use the raise hand feature. So if you go down and reminder, when you're sharing your presentation, your toolbar moves to the top. Okay. So, but as the co-host, your toolbar is going to be at the bottom. So if you look down at the bottom of your toolbar, if you go almost all the way to the right, you should see a button that says reactions. It has a little happy face on it. All right. So you want to click that. And if you see this reactions button, please click. The features that we use are the green check mark, the red X, the raised hand feature. There's also a go slower, go faster coffee cup feature. So if you all see these reactions, will you just click one? Make sure we can all see them, because you want to know how to do it in case anyone asks you how to do it. Now, let me tell you this. If someone doesn't have reactions or doesn't have the annotate feature, you always want to have an option, a plan B. So for instance, someone's on a Chromebook and they don't have annotate like Barbara today, just tell them to put their feedback into the chat box and just acknowledge that, or just unmute themselves and speak out loud. Some people won't have microphones, so they may not be able to talk out loud. So you just always want to make sure that there is a backup plan for everybody, because they're going to be on all kinds of devices. Okay, so you all see these reactions. Now, if
Sorry,
someone...
I do not, and I don't know why. I always used to see them.
Okay.
But they're not on the bottom of my screen.
You
So I
click
would
the red
use the
check.
one-
You click the red yes button.
Great.
Okay. Yeah, but I did that in the participant. I did that in the participant square.
Okay. So at the bottom of your screen, you don't see a reactions button.
No, and I don't know why, because I always
All right.
use-
If you go to the more button,
yes.
see
Okay.
if you have it there.
All right, I'll find it. No worries.
Okay. Well, what you want is you want to know how to clear these reactions when people. So the way, yeah, Tom Hunter said Chromebooks are going to have a limited functionality with Zoom. That's just
Okay.
that's just something we need to know.
Well, it's good that we're doing dual, what do you call it, teaching, because if I need Joanne, she's been really wonderful to try to help me coordinate something I can't do.
Okay, great. So when you have your participants list pulled up and your chat box pulled up, at the bottom of your participant list, you should see the word invite, mute all, and then you're either going to have a button that says more or three little dots. So when you click on that more button or three little dots, you should see something that says clear all feedback. Do you all see that? So
I do.
Lonnie, will you clear all feedback? All right, there you go. Now, also, you have a button that's right above that that says lock meeting. I have locked a meeting before. And so that means when someone tries to get back in, they can't because I've locked the meeting accidentally. So just know that that's right there. And, but if you do, nobody's going to die. I'll get an email saying, hey, I've been locked out of the meeting. And then we can come back and set it. You won't do it. I've only done it once. You won't do it. Okay. Let's all click the reactions button again.
Hey Lisa,
And if-
who has the Chromebook?
I have the
Barbara.
Chrome.
All
I'm
right.
the troublemaker every time.
All right, I'm gonna send you a link to an app Zoom is recommending. It's called Zoom for Chrome.
Okay.
Let's see.
And when that link comes through, what do you want me to do with it?
You'll click on it and then download that application.
All right.
Okay.
I just clicked on it. Nothing happened.
Okay. I think it's an application that you have to download to your
Yeah,
So-
it should open up a web browser.
So let's all click on our reactions again. Everybody, if you see it, click the raise hand button. I want y'all to see what happens. And if you didn't click it, okay. When someone has a question, they can click the raise hand button and their tile, they're going to get a hand, and then their tile is going to move to the top left-hand side of your screen. So if the presenter doesn't see that, as a co-host, you want to say, hey, Lonnie has a question. And so we clear those reactions the same way. So Joanne, if you'll go to the bottom of your participant list and click that button that says clear all feedback, it's perfect. All right, let's do this again. I'm going to just click some reactions. Just, if you could just click a reaction again. All right. All right, Nancy, I want to make sure you can see all this. So if you go to the bottom of your participant list and over to the right-hand side, you should invite, mute all. And do you have something that either says more? All right, could you clear all feedback? Perfect. Now, Barbara, let's all do this one more time and we'll see if Barbara has this as well.
Okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
So,
I do have that.
all right. So
When
will you,
When I go to participants, it comes up a little different than yours, but it says yes, no, go slower, go faster, clear all, and invite, mute all.
okay. All right. So clear all.
Do
So
you want me to clear all?
please.
Okay.
All right. Is everybody pretty comfortable with that? That's going to be important, you know, with these rapid fire questions. If you've got where you asking a lot of true, false, yes, no questions right in a row, you'll want to clear those reactions when we are talking about that. Okay. Let me make sure before we start pasting things. We've talked about, okay. All right. When you come in to the meeting, the first thing that we do is when we come in, we assign co-host and host duties to each other. So only the host can assign co-host privileges or host privileges to anybody. So Lonnie, if you go up in your participant list, I just want you to see this. I'm going to make you the host. There's a lot of power in this privilege. So don't let it go to your head. All right. So I'm going to go to your name and there's a more button. If I go to the right, it says ask to unmute and then a more button. And I'm going to make you the host. So there you go. Now, you see that? You're the host. Now, I am nothing. So I would like for you to go to my name and click on more and make me the host. All right. Now, Joanne,
Yes.
I'm going to make you the host.
Okie dokie.
I'm going to make you the host.
Aren't you a little scared?
Never. I'm never scared. Fearless is my name. All right. So now Lonnie doesn't have, she moved to the bottom of the list of the participant list. So I want you to go down to Lonnie's name and make her a co-host. All right. Now I want you to go to Nancy Padron and make her a host. All right. Now, Barbara, on your Chromebook, can you see that ability?
I can see the ability, but it does not give me host and co-host as an option when I hit more. It gives
Well, but
me other things.
because you are not a host. So Tom Hunter, we're safe to make her a host on her Chromebook. You
I
think?
think so.
Okay. All right, Nancy. I want you to go to Barbara and make her a host. All right.
Okay.
Now, Barbara, I want you to go to Nancy's name and that move to the bottom and make
Got it.
her a co-host.
Yes, I got it.
Okay. Now, I want you to go up to my name and
Yeah.
make me the host.
Okay, got it. I see. So only,
Okay.
as you had said, only the host has those privileges.
Right. So where that will come in handy is if you're training and your partner has they lose power like Tom Hunter just did. Now, whoever is one of you all will be a host and one will be a co-host. So let's say Lonnie and Joanne are training together and Joanne is the host and she has a power outage. So it will not end the meeting. It will just turn Lonnie over to being a host. Now, Joanne, you just try to get back on. And then once Joanne comes back in, Lonnie, you're going to want to make her a co-host. So just, we will set those settings when you first, but if one of you all has an issue and you have to come back in. Now, as a host,
I'm sorry to bother you, but as Joanne and I have set it up, there is going to be a transfer of her being the host at one time. Are you talking about the presenter or a host?
you don't, as a co-host and a host, you get the same privileges as far as sharing and breakout rooms. I wouldn't transfer it in the middle of a training. I would just leave one of you all the host and one the co-host, because if one of you all gets knocked off, the other one will. So you don't have to worry about that. The only thing, and I've done this before, done it once, nobody died. So, when, if you are to have to leave the meeting for any reason and you're the host, so in the bottom right-hand side of your screen where it says leave, as the host, it says end. I did that once. I left a meeting. I turned it off. But anyway, but you know what? Nobody died. And I got,
Are you listening to this, Joanne?
Margaret sent me a text message and said the meeting has ended. And I told my husband, I just ended the meeting. So I got right back on. Everybody got back on. Nobody knew the difference, even though I admitted I did that. So you can do that, but you won't, because I'm telling you, I did it and everything was okay. All
So
right.
basically just leave the settings where they are when we come
I
in.
would leave the settings where they are,
Okay.
in my opinion. Tom Hunter, do you agree with me on that? You don't have to. Once a person's a host and a co-host, there's not that big a difference.
Ending the meeting and being able to, I don't think there's a
No.
difference.
I would just keep it the same. Okay. Everybody pretty comfortable with that? All right. So as we talked and as we started, we let you in the meeting. So I want to I'm going to put some of our wonderful staff, wonderful team members into the waiting room for a minute, because I want you all to see. Oh, Joanne, I'm going to make you a co-host. Sorry. Okay. Let's see. Margaret, I'm going to remove your co-hosting. Okay. So I've removed Erica, Leslie, and Margaret. do you all mind if I put you all in the waiting room for just a few minutes so we can practice some things? Okay, so I'm going to put in the waiting room. I'm going to put Leslie into the waiting room. And I'm going to put Margaret into the waiting room. Okay. So
You can do that because you're the host
I'm the host.
and you have that option. Okay.
I
And
have
are
that
these
option.
set up that everyone has a waiting room? And when you guys are setting these logging on, you're letting people in? Is that what you're saying to me?
Right. Now,
Okay.
typically, we don't usually let people in till right before the meeting starts. That gives you a minute, and then we admit all. We let everybody in at the same time. But I did want to say, sometimes, you know, everyone gets their time zones mixed up. So if the training start at 10 a.m. Central Time and 11 a.m. Eastern Time, and when we open the meeting, you see someone in there an hour early, either they're a really early bird or they have gotten their times mixed up. So you can send a message to everyone in the waiting room. So if you go, this only shows up when people are in the waiting room. So if you go down to the bottom of your screen, go down to your chat box where it says to everyone. If you'll click on there, you can say everyone in the waiting room, and you can send them a message saying, hey, our meeting's going to start at 10 a.m. Central Time. That's about an hour. Now, when someone is new into the waiting room, they don't see that chat box. So you have to send that message every time. Does that make sense? All right. So you see these lovely people waiting to come into the meeting. And sometimes you'll be in the middle of the meeting, and if someone leaves and comes back, they're going to be in the waiting room. So that just kind of happens the whole time you're training, because people get knocked off and they come back in, and you will, because I put them in the waiting room, that you not hear, but you'll hear a bing bong, a little doorbell sound. So you can hit admit all and let everyone into the waiting room. So would Nancy or Joanne or
Oh,
Lonnie or Barbara, y'all can
Co-hosts can do that too. That's not just a host.
right. Co-hosts can let everybody back in. Okay. Anybody have questions about that?
Yes.
You have.
How did you let them back in?
I'm gonna move y'all back just a minute. Put them back into the waiting room. You have an option. You can let them in one at a time, or you can admit all. So if you go to the top, Joanne, and if you scroll all the way to the top, you'll see everybody who's in the waiting room. They're above
on the participant list.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
On the
Look on your participant list. Now
On the
say admit
participant
all
list.
waiting room.
Sorry, Joanne, I wasn't clear. So you can either go by each name and admit, or you can hit the button admit all.
I let them in. Got it.
did.
Thank you.
You
Thank
did
you.
it. Like, y'all are Zoom experts. All right. Everybody pretty comfortable with that?
It's called survival, Lisa. Zoom experts.
Y'all are great. One thing we're going to talk about before we talk about chat, breakout rooms and putting stuff into the chat box, we're going to talk about polls. So I think it's Food Safety in Schools has polls built in, but polls are a wonderful way to provide interaction in your training. If you decide you want a poll, you would just have to let whoever created the meeting know, because that's the only one who can put a poll in. But you will be launching the polls during the training. And as a co-host, you can launch the polls. So that's another thing. Doesn't matter if you're a host or co-host, you can launch the polls. So down at the bottom of the screen, and Leslie, Erica, and Margaret, I've left y'all as not co-hosts because I want you all to answer these polls. So as co-host, you can't answer the polls. I think we had a pilot where I made everybody a co-host and no one could answer the polls. So only those who are not a host or a co-host can answer these polls. So if you go down to your screen, hopefully you'll see it's between participants and chat. You should see something that says polls. Does everyone see that?
Yes.
Okay. So
No,
Mine goes from participants to chat.
you don't have it, Leslie, because you're not a co-host.
Sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. You and
I wasn't
Erica
paying
and Mark,
attention.
that's right. I
Until you
took
were
that,
making me
I
feel
took that
better.
away from you, baby. Because I want you all to be able to answer it.
That's right.
Mine goes right from participants to chat.
Do you have a more button or 3 dots?
Not here, no. I do
Okay.
not.
Could that be a Chromebook issue, Tom Hunter?
Good.
All right. Well, Barbara, we're gonna go through this activity. So Nancy says she sees it. Okay. So if you click on polls, when you pull it up, you should see something that says Superpowers poll. And at the top of that box, you should see a Superpowers poll and a little upside down carrot. And if you click on it, that's where all the polls are listed. I think Food Safety in Schools may have 8 polls. So I've put some polls in. So Nancy, I would like for you to launch the poll of your choice. You want to click on that box, and Leslie, so you're going to have 3 people who are available to answer those polls. All right. How are you feeling? So you see, Nancy, that it looks like you've got everybody. So there's still. All right. So there you go. And then in poll and you share results. Stop sharing. All right. Nancy, you're an expert. Are you comfortable with that? Do you need to do it again? Okay. All right.
So glad everybody's happy.
I am too. If you're not
Nancy,
happy on a
I was
Friday,
the first one.
I'm going to be happy. Okay. Lonnie, the polls, can you see them? And if you go to that drop down menu, do you want to pick a poll?
I do want to pick a poll.
You know, after I answered that, Lisa, it gave me a whole series of different polls I could choose from, which is very weird. But
Okay.
again, that'll be one of my technology people.
Well, you should, that means that you can see the polls and launch them.
Yes.
Okay. So
when
we'll let you go
come down,
next.
I'll ask them,
All
yeah.
right. So we've got dog people and both people. And then share results. Perfect. All right. Okay. Now, Joanne, do you see the
Yeah.
polls?
I do.
Do you want to pick a poll? All right. Have you ever met a famous person? I know one person who's going to answer who has for sure. Oh, 2 people. All right. All right. 2 people have met a famous person. And then you just hit stop sharing when you have finished talking about your results. All right. Okay, Barbara. You see the polls?
When I get to a certain point, that arrow comes up that allows me to see them.
Mhm.
I do see I don't see let's see. I'm going to put relaunch. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can bring myself back around.
I think you just relaunched. Have you
I
ever
did.
met a famous
Trying to get
person?
to that arrow. Oh, there it is. Okay.
Okay. You can
All right,
click
there it
on
is.
one.
I got it.
Woohoo!
So I have them.
You can just pick one.
And then I launch it.
Yes.
Got it.
Do you think pineapple belongs on a pizza? All right. So now you know 100% have participated. So you can end the poll and then share the results. All right. 2 of y'all
Well,
say
once I
no.
found it, it was pretty easy.
Okay. Yeah. So it is easy. All this stuff is easy, or I wouldn't be able to do it. So, all right. Are y'all comfortable with polls?
Yes.
We've been doing this for 1 hour. Does anyone need a break?
No, but I have a question. So when we are presenting next week, the polls that we are to do will be, how would I put this? They will
Loaded.
be ready for us to go, right? So my only concern is that I cannot see that arrow until I start looking at the polls that somebody else has launched. You know what I'm saying? That arrow appears to give me the choices after somebody has launched something. I didn't have accessibility prior to.
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, that may be an issue for Joanne and I.
Okay.
She'd have to start and then I could go after, but I couldn't go after until she
Mhm.
started.
Well, you all can decide.
Yes.
I think there are 8 polls. So, but is everybody pretty comfortable with them?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. All right. So nobody needs a break, a water break or a comfort break. Everybody okay? If you do, let me know. All right. So the next thing we're going to talk about is copying and pasting links into the chat box. So I know my team is going to be sick of hearing me say this, but I always, when I'm going to co-host a training, I have a mise en place. I have everything ready. I am old and I still have a paper copy of my moderator notes. So we've created, or the virtual chart. So, Patrick has created a virtual chart with the virtual activities. And then I went and created a little set of moderator notes that give the instructions by the PowerPoint slide. So you're kind of alerted. That really has helped us, our ICN training team, to know when we're supposed to do something and to be ready. So let me pull up. So I sent everybody some moderator notes today. Oops, pushed the wrong thing. So I'm going to pull this up. So I think I sent, let me undo that. Okay. So I think I sent you all a set. This is from a lesson from food safety in schools. So when you can see that we've put some instructions into these notes that might be helpful to our participants as they are attending the training. One thing we typically do is when we start the training, someone might put into the chat box the free resources that are available from ICN. So I have found it the easiest, because it's really hard to type a lot and type real fast, and I'm not very good. I copy and paste information from my little document into the chat box. So this is something, so there's the trainers talking, and so I will copy that. Then I paste it into the chat box and hit enter. And there it is into the chat box. So that helps if you're going to put any instructions into the chat box. So I find it easier to copy and paste and put things into the chat box. So if you all want to practice copying and pasting and putting it into the chat box, you can certainly do so. And you also want to make sure that it goes to everyone. Sometimes I've done this more than I'd like to admit, but if I've put a message into everyone in the waiting room, that's, I might send it there. Or if I'd had a private conversation with Joanne, I send that stuff to Joanne. And sometimes people say, I didn't get it. And I'll look and I've sent it to Joanne or Lonnie, and I haven't sent it to everybody. So you could just resend it. So it's very forgiving. There you go. Nancy's put something in. This will be mainly what you'll do also. If you not only do you have the QR code for the evaluations and the pre and post assessment, we also put a link to those into the chat box. If someone has difficulty reading the QR code, they can click on the link as well.
Right. Can I just ask a question at this point?
Yes, ma'am.
I brought up those moderator notes on my second screen,
Mm-hmm.
and then I copied from there and pasted.
Mhm.
Is that how I was supposed to do it?
You did it and it pasted. And
Okay.
I just wanted to say, you are a Zoom expert.
Hey Nancy, I want to ask you a question real quick. Can you do me a favor? I want to see something with your settings. In the lower left hand corner where you've got the mute and unmute button, the little arrow to the right hand side of that. If you click that, under select a microphone, what does it say right there? Oh, you're muted. There we go.
It says microphone, Real Tech Audio.
What other listings do you have right there?
I have line in, microphone. I have line in as Real Tech Audio, and I have microphone, HD webcam, or same as system.
Which one's checked right there?
Microphone.
Okay, that's good. I just wanted to make sure.
Okay. So that should be this one.
Can you tap on that?
It's
Yeah,
not.
I don't think it's on.
Okay.
I hear more of your room than I do the microphone.
Well, what it should be, because I'm looking at mine and I have my AirPods on, and that's one of my.
Tap on your AirPods.
And Lonnie sounds good.
Tap
hear
on the
me?
other one.
Mhm.
Mine, that's not what's checked on. Same as system is what's checked on. Should it be my AirPods or should
your
it be my?
AirPods.
It should be my
Let me
AirPods.
see.
So it should be the same thing that your speaker is and your microphone should be the same thing, right?
Well, not necessarily, but for you, yes.
Okay, so there, now I switched it.
They're the AirPods.
Better? Okay.
Okay, Lisa, I have a question now. Once again, because I'm on Chromebook, I have my Dropbox on another. I have to minimize you and then go to I've got my view of my different presentations, and say for instance, I go to presentation number 2, and I want to put that in the chat box. I noticed that all the food safety in schools in color are always, once you put that in, that suffices for every lesson. So what do I do to that to get that to the chat box? I missed that.
Okay. Now, if you're just going straight to your Dropbox, you need to download everything from your Dropbox to your desktop.
We tried to do that.
That's the only way you're going to be able to. Right.
Yeah, let me see if it'll work for me.
That's the only way you're going to be able, and that's what I'm talking about, having everything ready. You want everything downloaded to your desktop.
Okay, so
I have
now
to-
I did that. It says download complete. So it says show and folder. So the folder comes up. So I'm going to click on it. And then I clicked on it. And then where do I send it to after that?
So you would copy it and just put it into the chat box. Just put your cursor into the chat box and hit enter. Or you can type things. It's easier. If you're going to put a link in, you'll want to be able to copy and paste.
All right.
All right. Everybody pretty comfortable with copying and pasting into the chat box? All right. I've had a lot of questions about pasting documents into the chat box. Nothing is easier that we do today than pasting documents in the chat box. So if you go over to the chat box, you should see a little icon that looks like a piece of paper with the little corner bent down. If you click on that, that's how you're going to paste a document into the chat box. If you click on that, you get some options, Dropbox, OneDrive, Box, SharePoint. Go to your computer. And then you're going to go. So once you see that, you're going to get some choices about where you're going to go to find these documents. So my documents are on my desktop under, I just have them. So I'm just going to, so once you find that document, the name of the document, because it's on the moderator notes, you will click on that. You'll hit the word open. And then it's going to come. Yeah, Lonnie already did it. Utilize the cafeterias. So it will go into the
Lisa,
chat
I
box.
literally I just did that now with the menu A, the way
Uh-huh.
you just did it. But that utilizing cafeteria classroom, I just dragged that over.
Oh, snappy. I've never done it that way.
I was playing it. So I literally opened that and I just dragged it over and dropped it into chat and it posted up there.
Huh. Mine's doing a spinny thing, but it did it. I did.
Mhm.
Oh, Lonnie, did y'all hear that? She took that. I've never done that. Look at you. I know. Y'all are so good. So
Trying.
if you have two screens, you can drag it to the chat box, or you can click that little piece of paper. That's the
And
only
so
way I
when
ever
you
knew
look
how
at that, mine, the menu A,
Mhm.
why does mine shows a green arrow? And
Okay.
the other, because I did it, and the other
Because-
ones are I've got to download it because you did it.
because you did it. Now,
Okay.
the instruction that you need to give to your participants. First of all, we do encourage them to print everything before the training, but we know they're not going to be able to do that sometimes. So this is just to help supplement the training. But they will need to click on the document to download it. And if it downloads and they can't see it, it goes into their documents folder. And then there's a Zoom folder. So they can take that and save it to their desktop. So, and then once they do that, it's pretty simple.
Not necessarily. Why?
I'm trying to take something and move it to my Dropbox. Take something after I've downloaded it and put it into the.
Are y'all pretty comfortable
program.
with this? Joanne, Nancy, y'all are pretty comfortable with it.
For sure.
So
Thank you.
Okay.
it's truly the easiest thing that you'll do.
Unless you're me.
Unless you have a Chromebook. But
Right. But he's going to come down and show me, and I'm sure there is a way to do it.
okay. All right.
I have downloaded it. I just don't know where to go with it after that.
Okay.
Lisa, I have a question about one of these links to post. The next one on the tip sheet is the link to the pre-assessment. Now, I
Mhm.
already have the QR code in my PowerPoint. I've done that,
Right.
but I don't have a link here. Was that sent to me?
Leslie's going to send you a list of those links. She'll send you the links to those because whoever is assisting will want to put those links into the chat box. You'll get a link to the pre-assessment, the post-assessment, and the evaluation.
Sent those, as a matter of fact, I sent them again yesterday.
Okay,
But you know
then I
what?
have them.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I'll
know.
resend them, but yeah, I always send them again right before the training.
Okay.
Okay.
So if you'll, but confirm that you have them, let me know that. Barbara,
Yeah,
did you
some
get the email
trainers-
from me?
Some trainers will think that they can click on the link from their PowerPoint, but they can't. You have to cut and paste it into the chat. So if you put it in your PowerPoint, the link, they can't click on that link in your PowerPoint.
I have the QR code in my
Yeah.
PowerPoint.
Yeah.
May I ask now, what do we do when people don't have a smartphone? We just direct them to the chat box?
We direct them to the chat box, and they don't have to use it. Both of them will be the same. So whichever one they use will be fine.
Okay.
And then some people will say, I can't get the link. Tell them not to worry about it.
Okay.
Just move on. And don't just tell them not to worry about that.
So I'm looking at, so Sarah's mine for one of the things, the QR code is here. I have to download that to a desktop because it's in this email. It's embedded in this email. So I would actually download that JPEG and then get that JPEG over there. Is that what I'm saying? Okay.
Mhm.
And I
I can
think I
handle that.
just copied and pasted, Lonnie. I think it picked it up like a photo.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Hey,
So I'm gonna
Joanne,
download it.
It's a photo. Yeah.
I just looked, Joanne, and I resent it again at 11 o'clock yesterday.
Okay, thank
So let me
you.
know if you did, let me know if you didn't get it.
Well, I'm
Okay.
sure that I did. I'm just sorting out between what did I need where.
Yes.
Y'all are
And
going to be
Barbara, you should have that
awesome.
as well.
I did get that, yes.
Okay.
So, and sometimes you'll post a link or a document in the chat box, and then people will put a lot of conversation and it'll get lost. Just put it in again, and also sometimes I've put the document in at the wrong time. Just put it in again. Just put it in again. Just, before we go to breakout rooms, Erica, Margaret, Leslie, have I left anything out?
I can't think of anything.
Do y'all have any tips that I haven't? Because I talk a lot.
So I have a question. When we're putting everything in this chat, and I've got it downloaded, like I said, when I'm transferring it to my chat, how much do I put into that chat prior to the presentation? Everything?
Just, you should see something at a slide. You just put, so when someone's introducing and saying, I just put those free resources. And if you don't put it in, it's okay, Barbara. It's okay.
Well, no,
Those are
I
just nice
noticed
thing.
the 3 resources really are apropos for many of the chapters when I went through them. I looked at them all and they looked as though they were not, there wasn't a lot. It was just the 3.
Mhm.
So I wasn't sure if that should all be loaded prior to.
No, as they're talking about it, that's when I put it in. Because you don't want to overload them, because especially if they don't know what it's for. So just, I guess the way I look at it and the way we look at it is we really just want to be as hospitable with our virtual training as we are with our face-to-face training. And we just want to, if there's something that, especially I always think when the trainer puts a link, if there's a link to a website on a presentation, they can't click on that. So I always think, let me put it in the chat box and they can click on it. Some people may not, and some people find it useful and some people don't. But I guess we just try to just reinforce and enhance as much as we can when the presenter is presenting, because we don't have materials that we're giving them. And but we also want the presenter who's sharing their presentation to just be able to focus on that. So that's why we have this dual system. And it's worked actually really well.
So I just did, I had the one from Sarah. So
Mhm.
I file saved it on my desktop. I dragged over that QR code. Do you see it there in the chat?
I do.
And
And then
normally,
so then-
Lonnie.
Then you have to click on that to open it. And then
Well,
you see
but
it? Is
you
that
won't
how
want
that
to,
works?
you won't want to put the QR code in the chat. You're going to want to put it in your PowerPoint presentation, because that's
Okay.
how they're going to read it from the presentation itself.
Okay.
You're going to put the link. If someone is, they're going to put the link of the evaluation or assessment in the chat box, not the QR code.
Lonnie, the QR codes will come as a photo or whatever, but there also should be a Word document, and the Word document will actually have the links, and that's what you'll cut and paste. It's a Word document.
The
It
Word
doesn't have
document, I see exactly. So I just have the evaluation. So I see, right, I have a Word document and then it just says the evaluation. So I'm clicking that link over into,
Yeah,
dragging the link into the chat box, and the
Right.
QR code itself is going to get into the PowerPoint presentation.
correct.
Okay,
Exactly.
making sure I understand that. Got it.
And
You know me, I cannot make a mistake. It would freak me right on out.
well, and if you do, Lonnie, it's okay, because our motto is nobody's going to die. that's how
Lonnie,
we
if something
through this.
happens, all you have to do is say, Sarah, we cannot get the QR codes and links to work. Can you send them when you send the certificate? I mean, don't fret.
Don't stress over that. Mm-mm.
We've done, if you've done something, believe me, it's been done before by us.
One thing too, when people come into the meeting, they're automatically muted. So they will have to unmute themselves to speak. So they can either go down to that little microphone and unmute themselves, or use the button to the top right-hand side of their video tile. One thing I have done, I do it maybe every other month, is when I'm unmuting myself or muting myself, I'll accidentally mute the speaker. and they don't know they're muted. And so I've done that many times because so anyway, if you do that, you can't, or if you accidentally mute someone who's talking, you can't unmute them. So you have to say, hey, Joanne, I accidentally muted you, because you don't know you're muted. You're just talking away. So just know that I've done that and it's okay. But you may do that. And that's just a little tip that I've learned. And it's a moment of humor. Okay. I think have I missed anything that's not a breakout room, anybody?
Hey, can I ask a question? Can you hear me better now?
No.
No.
At least on that mute and unmute, y'all may encounter someone who's at work and there's a lot of background noise and they've unmuted themselves to answer a question or something, and they forget to mute themselves, and you may have to manually mute them. They aren't aware that the background noise can be real disruptive to your trying to present. So you just mute them. You don't even have to tell them. You just can mute them.
Sometimes you can mute them. I don't know why. Sometimes you can mute them, and sometimes it just says ask to mute. It depends. So, but yes, Margaret's absolutely right. Don't be afraid to mute people if they need to be muted.
Nancy, if you go to the mute where it's, your mute microphone, and you click on the arrow and you go to audio settings on the very bottom.
Okay.
If you click on that, you can then test your microphone and set that setting to be a little higher or lower, your speaker and your.
It sounds like it might be just because you need to move your microphone up a little bit. Your little thingamajig. Yes, Joanne.
Barbara, that link that you just put in the chat box, that takes me to the Dropbox folder with all of our training information in it. So that wouldn't be something that you would want to post while we were training, I don't think. All the videos were in there, all of the, I can't hear you. You're muted.
Yes, Joanne, we were trying to, this is almost impossible for me to move this stuff over on the Chromebook. So we were trying to figure out a way. Mike is here with me again. We were trying to figure out a way to get those different attachments into the chat box. So the only way we could figure out doing it was to copy the URL and to get them over. But what I probably have to do is separate them and move each one separately.
You cannot, you can't send them a Dropbox link because that's not something that's shared with everybody. It's just shared.
But it wouldn't be, okay, so what if
it's a public folder though. They should be anybody.
But we don't send them all in one. We put them in one at a time.
Break them up, Lisa? What if I break them up and do it? So
then they would still have, I don't think so, because then they'd have to go to a Dropbox. I would prefer that you didn't. If you're going to put things into the chat box, they need to be separate documents. I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah, it's okay. I'm just trying to figure a way of getting them in there.
Yeah, it's not going to work in a Dropbox.
But if one of us has it into we both have to have it in?
No, I mean, you all can, you don't have to both put them in.
I just asked if they could possibly just get me a camera for this other computer, because that would solve a lot of problems, because I would just use my desktop.
Yeah.
But that's not happening right now. So
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm just trying all different ways to accommodate.
Yeah, we just can't be putting the Dropbox folder into, and he said it was a public folder. I don't think it is. Only share it with, they can view them, but they can't download it.
Yeah, it is not. So when you get done with this lesson, that'll all be erased anyway, right?
Mhm.
I won't show up tomorrow or Monday.
Say that again.
So this information that I put
Yeah,
on
it's
that will disappear after today.
Mhm.
Okay.
all right. Y'all ready to talk about breakout rooms?
Sorry.
Yeah, no, don't apologize. So, as you know, breakout rooms are a great way for everyone to do the small group activities. And we've had a lot of success with the breakout rooms, and they're actually pretty easy to do. So we're going to just practice, and everyone who's a co-host can see the breakout rooms and configure it. Once you set up a breakout room, once it's launched, they will all stay in that breakout room. So unless you want to change it up throughout the training, you can keep it the same. So that's just a little thing. So let's go down to our toolbar at the bottom, and you should see something that says breakout rooms. It has 4 little squares. If you don't see that, go to the More button, and you should see a drop down box that says breakout rooms. Y'all tell me if there's anyone who doesn't see that.
Guess what? I don't see that.
Yeah, Chromebook's probably going to be very limited with.
Oh my gosh, this is unbelievable. I'm hoping that I can get I've still got some time before Monday, and what I'm doing is taking careful note of how to do all this. If I can put it on a different computer for the presentation, would be advantageous, probably.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I do not see that either.
At the bottom of your screen. I wonder if they need an update.
Breakout rooms?
Yeah, they should. Let me make sure you're you're a co-host.
Nancy,
down-
let me ask this question too. Are you connected inside of a web browser, like Chrome or
Talking to me or
Firefox?
Nancy?
Nancy.
How do I know that, Tom?
Are you on a Windows machine? Are you on a PC right now?
I am on a laptop.
But is it
I'm
Windows?
not on a desktop.
Is it Microsoft Windows?
Yes.
Okay.
Nancy, do you have 3 dots?
No, I don't. I
You
have
have
3.
4?
No, I don't have them on my bottom toolbar.
So you
Can
don't
I
see
share
breakout
my
rooms?
screen and you can see it, Tom?
No, because you're not.
Oh.
I'm not going to be able to see your Zoom controls. All right, let's
Okay.
do it this way. So let's click. Let me see how I can find out what version of Zoom you're using. And yes, all of you need to update your Zoom client if you have not.
Okay.
Let's see here. Okay. All right. So let's in the lower left-hand corner.
Yep.
And everybody can do this. In the lower left-hand corner, next to the video icon, the start and stop video, click the little up arrow right there, and then click on video settings. Now, this just brings up the control panel. We're not actually going to video settings. On the left-hand side, you'll see a few options: general, video, audio, and so on. We want to find statistics, and we want to click on statistics. It's towards the bottom, and it will tell you your version at the bottom there. So if you click on statistics, kind of to the right-hand side, it'll give you a version number. All right,
That's
now my
the version of Zoom?
Version of Zoom, that's right.
Mhm.
Now, my version is 5.7.6. I'm on a Mac, and I think that's the most recent version. Nancy, is that what you see?
Yes, but I have 5.3.1.
Okay.
Why she
Then
doesn't have
you-
breakout room.
I've got 5.7.8.
I have 5.7.8, and
That's
that's
Windows.
funny you say that. I literally just updated Zoom like this week. It came up and I updated it.
That's probably Windows. Windows and Mac tend to be off just a hair, but you're still on 5.7, and that's perfect. So yes, Nancy, you'll need to update, and then Barbara, yours is going to be completely different because you're on a Chromebook. So I don't know what the
Well, I'm going to try to get a different computer to do all this. I think the important thing for me to do right now is to understand how to do it.
Mhm.
And I may even listen to your next lesson again, so that I'm clear over the weekend how I can input all this in.
I'm also recording this.
You are recording
Can-
it? I
yes.
see it on YouTube, right?
Yes, but
I'm
it
gonna
may
give you
take
all
me a
the
minute. It won't be tomorrow. I mean, I don't know
That's
when
okay.
I'll get it to you. Nancy, or Tom Hunter, could you put the link in? So Nancy, okay. Nancy, if you could go out and update and come back so that you can learn how to do this, that would be great.
And I would like to ask a question since we have Tom Hunter's expertise here.
Yes.
I live in the country and I'm on a hotspot, but I see now that you've taken me to this page, I can see what my bandwidth is. Can you, because I am always worried that I don't have a good enough signal. Can you tell me what I should be seeing?
Bandwidth. Well, that's just how much is being sent and received.
Yeah.
But it's dynamic. So, like mine says 3 megabytes send and 911 kilobytes per second received. 5 send. 10, okay. I mean.
Okay, yeah, I see mine has fluctuated from 300 on the send up to 1100. I just thought maybe it would give me an indication of whether I had a good signal.
That's a good question. No, I don't think that's going to tell you what you want to know. It just tells, like if we were to send a report to Zoom, like there's a send report button down there at the bottom, it's going to tell them what your bandwidth was, and it will probably allow them to troubleshoot that. But that's not going to tell me much.
Okay, I didn't mean to stump the expert. I just thought, oh, maybe I need to know this.
No, that's all right. I've never been asked that question before, but usually if you're having issues, Zoom's going to tell you that your connection is slow, and it's going to give you a status bar, and it's going to tell you your connection's unstable.
Thanks.
Let me look at our dashboard and see if it tells me anything now that you brought that up.
All right, I have good news. My daughter-in-law, who does all of these kind of things for a living, has another computer that I can use with what she believes will connect me properly. And Sunday afternoon, even though I have to give up watching the Bills game, I will work on this. I'm going to watch them win this time. I am going to, as long as I have the notes, she said, just bring the notes and she'll set it all up for me Sunday.
Wonderful.
All
And
right.
she agreed with you that it is impossible on a Chromebook to do those things.
That app I sent you may give you some functionality. That's what was recommended from what I Googled, but
Okay.
you're not going to have full functionality like you would on a Windows or a Mac machine.
All right. Well, you know what? It'll be better than what I've got now, right?
That's right.
All right. So Nancy's up. She is
No, I jumped
oh, yeah,
out
there you
too
are.
quick. Yeah, but I jumped out too quick and didn't pick up the Zoom link.
Oh, I thought you jumped out because you were updating.
Yeah, but I didn't get the Zoom link that you put in the chat, and I jumped out before I took it.
Oh, well.
do you want to
Here,
do
I'll-
that
I'll-
again
I'll,
so we can?
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
Nancy, don't feel bad. Look at all the trouble I've caused.
Nobody's trouble. Y'all are amazing. This
Nancy
is
and I are a
new.
great team. We're from New York State, and you know what troublemakers we are. Right,
So,
Nancy?
So Nancy will need to, if you could go ahead and do that so we can move. This is the last thing that we need to do is our breakout rooms. So it won't take you but just a few minutes, but I would like to go through this to be mindful of our
Well,
time.
if you click on that, it's
Okay.
going to open up a web page and it's going to show the download. If you're in Chrome, it's going to be in the lower left. If you're in Firefox, it's going to be in the top right.
Okay.
And you'll just click on it. And
right.
and
All right, I'm gonna leave now and do that, and I'll be right back.
Well, you don't have to leave until it.
Oh, I
prompts you. No, it'll tell you when to leave. You don't
Yeah,
have to
just
leave
click
yourself.
on it and it'll just follow the directions and it'll.
I'm doing that on my
Yay!
other
Thank
Just they're downloading it. Okay.
There she goes.
As Nancy's coming back, we can talk about just, y'all can start getting comfortable with breakout rooms. So does everyone else have that little icon? So you can see the little instructions on how to do it. And I won't go too far. I don't really want to go too far. I just wanted you all to become familiar with.
I'm looking in that whether it be assigned manually, automatically. So it says 6 participants per room. How is that? That was chosen. We're not determining that. I'm assuming you're doing an automatic assignment.
You can do it however you want to. We typically do it automatically, and I'll show once Nancy gets back. I'll show you how we do it. It's worked for us. Breakout Bill taught us how to do that. He is kind of our expert, so that's how we do it. But you can do it either way.
When you choose the number of rooms that you want, Zoom does the math for you.
Yeah.
That's why you see that. So if it's
see.
since it says 1 room, it says 6 participants per room. If you change that number, it's going to divide everybody out evenly.
How do you know, okay, how many participants we have?
The participants list.
Well,
So on the top, it says
I mean, for our thing on Monday.
Oh.
You'll just know when they come.
Okay.
35 show up, sign up. You might get 10. You might get 35.
I see. So they
Okay.
can't
Here
determine.
comes Nancy. Would
Right
someone like to
now-
let Nancy in?
Oh, sorry.
Right now for
did it.
Monday, 12 have signed up through Zoom. So I would imagine you'll probably end up with maybe 18 to 20.
Thank you.
Now wait till Nancy gets in so we won't have to. Let me make her a co-host. All right. Welcome back, Nancy, with an N. A nice green N. That looks very sophisticated.
You said that, and I was thinking, well, how else would you spell that, Lisa?
I know, it was pretty. It was green and pretty, and it just made me smile.
I know. I didn't see the initial though. I thought you were just saying Nancy with an N.
Just
I'm
just
with you,
going
Tom.
off
I
on-
didn't either. I'm like, I think we all know it starts with an N, but what do I know?
Sorry.
Things are different in Mississippi.
Yeah,
that's
it
a
is
new
different, man.
nickname.
And Mississippi
Nancy
does start
with
with
an
an
N.
M, not an N. All right. So down at the bottom, Nancy,
I got everything.
hopefully you should see breakout rooms. Okay. So click on that. And you also ought to see your reactions button too with the happy face. Hotty toddy. All right. So I want everyone to click on breakout rooms. And you should see a screen that says create, has a drop down box with breakout rooms. You have a choice of assign automatically, assign manually, let participants choose a room. We never let participants choose their own room. That's just how we do it. We don't let them, period. Okay. So, we had a question come up about how many breakout rooms should you do? When it's not consultant trainers, it's people off the street coming to a training. We always think that I would err on the side of making the rooms bigger than smaller because, you got people that come on, they may not have a camera, they may not have a microphone. You just don't know what they're on. So when you make them really small, let's say, Leslie and Barbara go in a room together, but Barbara doesn't have a microphone or a camera or she's struggling. Then there's Leslie all by herself and she's just not getting anything out of the activity. So that's what now if you if you see that they're really interactive, you can make them smaller, but I would never make a breakout room with less than 5 people. Let's say you get a group of 8. That's all you have. You could do one breakout room, or you can do the activity as a group. So, you know, we're not married to having to do a breakout room, but a lot of times when we have a smallish group, it is a chance when they go to the breakout room, gives you a little break, you know, get some time to breathe, or talk to each other, or, you know, go get a drink of water or whatever. So, you know, that's up to you. Yes, Joanne. You are on mute.
If we have a small group, but yet our instructions say each group is to talk about one physical, one biological, and
Right.
one chemical, we then just say, visit each one of those in your group?
You can do it that way. You can have them do 1 or 2, and then you could do the third one as a group together. It's just however you want to do it. And, you know, but yeah, because some of the activities I think have 5 breakout rooms. Well, that's hard. So, you know, you just kind of, you can either pick one, or you can just cover that as a group, or have them pick 2 if it's 4 and you have 2 groups, and then give them a little longer, you know.
So when we do the breakout rooms, so Nancy and I are doing the training on the beginning of October. So when we do the breakout rooms, her and I are still on the Zoom and could be doing some talking and
Yes.
making sure we got blah, blah, and no one's hearing us because we're,
No.
so we're in we're in the main room.
You're in a room together. Yeah. It's
Another room
almost like
together,
your
okay.
own breakout room. Now,
Right, okay.
also, this won't happen here, but sometimes people, if they don't have really good internet, they won't go into a breakout room, or they'll get knocked out. So sometimes people get stuck. So just know that. So they may be there, even if their video camera's not on, they may still hear what you're saying. So you just want to be mindful of that. Just be mindful of that. So, you know, you can either, if they don't respond, just let them stay there. Or sometimes we've had people, and they're so sweet, they can't get in, or they keep getting knocked out. We just talk to them about the activity. Okay, so you see create breakout rooms. So for the sake of today, let's say 2. Let's go to 2. And then so now don't do it. Just wait till I tell you, don't click any buttons yet. Because we're going to take turns doing breakout rooms. So you've got create 2 breakout rooms, and hit that blue button that says create. So, and I hit automatically. Automatically and create. So you should have 2 rooms. And what we do is typically we'll do an automatic breakout room, but we remove people that we don't want in the breakout room. So if Lonnie and Nancy are training together, Lonnie, if you're running the breakout room, you're not going to get put into a breakout room if you were operating the breakout room, but you're going to want to remove Nancy from the breakout room. So I want you all, so the way to do that, you see room 1. And if you go all the way over to the right, you should see a blue number. If you'll click on that number, you're going to see everybody in that room with a little blue check mark. That means they're in the room. So if you want to remove someone from the room, you just click their name. So I want everyone to, well, I lost mine. Okay. So I would like everyone to remove Erica and Margaret from the breakout rooms. All right, so you've removed them. Now, you all got kind of probably have a different configuration, but whoever launches the breakout room, that's what's going to stick. So but we can recreate. But anyway, so you've got everybody set up. You got who you want in the breakout rooms. Down at the left-hand corner, you should see options. So click that. This is, you want to have certain things. So we never make sure allow participants to choose room. We don't check that. We do not allow people to return to the main session at any time. And this is on your little tip sheet the picture of how we do it. We do check automatically move assigned participants into the breakout room. That's checked. We do check breakout rooms close automatically after, and that's where you set the minutes. So if you're the co-host and Lonnie's the trainer, I'll say, Lonnie, how long do you want that breakout room? So let's change that to 2 minutes. All right, so you want that checked. You want the check that says notify me when time is up. And you want check mark countdown after closing the breakout room. You have a lot of options for that countdown. We always pick 10 seconds. That's all you need. We started out with 2 minutes. It felt like an eternity. If you do that though, and forget to do that, it's okay. But we typically pick 10 seconds. So once you have that set to open the breakout rooms, you click open all rooms. So Joanne, I want you to open all rooms.
I will, but I will have a little failure here. I was unable to remove those unwanted people from the room.
So if you go to the number on the right that says
Yes.
4, should be 4 in each one. I don't know. Do you have Margaret or Erica in room 1?
I have Erica, and my options are to move her or to exchange
No, go all
her.
the way to that little blue number. There should be a blue number, a blue 4. You click on that 4.
Yes. Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
So I'm getting rid of Leslie,
Or whoever you
Erica-
want. Just 2 people.
just 2 people.
Just 2
All
people.
right.
But one of ICN people. Okay. And you can't get, and I'm not in there because I'm a host. Okay. So
Thank you. I have done that.
all right, now open all rooms, Joanne. Let's go. Okay, Joanne. And all right, so everybody's gone in. So you should be seeing something that says now you have a little red 3. So up there where it says unassigned, sometimes you either forget to put somebody in or somebody comes late. So you can put those unassigned people into a breakout room. So if you click on to Erica's name, you can assign her to either room 1 or room 2. So put Erica in room 1. And then down there where Leslie assigned to, put Leslie in room 2.
Okay, thank you.
And then you can even move people from one room to another. But this is helpful if someone comes in late or they get knocked off and that they come back again. And you can also join a breakout room with that blue where the number was. Now it says join.
Yeah.
I would not recommend doing that for both of you all. You know, now if you, because things happen, if you are presenting and you join, just know when you come back, your presentation will be down because it's like you left the meeting. So you would have to pull that back up. You can also broadcast a message to everybody. Say you forgot to tell them something or you've decided to extend it. You can send them a message that way. And they can also send a message to you to ask for help. There you go. It's really pretty easy. It's always unnerving the first time when they, now, and if you accidentally put the trainer in there, you can close them and bring them back if you want. All right, so now they're going to close. And they have a few seconds. Once the countdown starts, they can come back on their own.
Okay.
All right, y'all. How fun was that? And you noticed if you were in the breakout room that you see how much longer you have. And you also notice, and when you send people into the breakout room, that to notice the number of room that they're in, they're always forget what number, but you have the list. So if you're saying group 1 and Leslie pipes up, she's a spokesperson, she'll say, I forgot what room I'm in, and you can tell her. So, you know, that's helpful too. Okay. So once you've done the breakout rooms, you can recreate the breakout rooms. So we're going to hit recreate. And that changes everything. So that way you can change the number of breakout rooms that you want to do. So let's do 3 breakout rooms and hit assign automatically and hit recreate. Okay. And let's make sure on the options that we still have it at 2 minutes and 10 seconds. Oops. And then Nancy.
Yes.
So please remove Erica from a room and Tom Hunter. But do you have any rooms with just one person in them? Okay. So take one of those with the 3. If there's 3, if you click on their name, you can see move to. So if you have one with 3, move that person in so you have 2 in each room. Or at least 2. Okay. And now open all rooms. Okay. So you see your name and you see Tom Hunter Pratt. Tom Hunter came in late. So you need to put him into a breakout room. So that happens sometimes. Either you leave somebody out or they come in, they get knocked off and come in late. So you can, if you put his name, you can assign to. So if you could assign him to a breakout room.
Okay.
And then he'll go. And you can also see where that number was. It's now got something that says join. You can join a breakout room if you want. That's a lot of fun. Both of you all do not need to join a breakout room at the same time. You need to leave someone in the main meeting. Okay. Also, down there it says broadcast message to all. You can send everybody a message, say you forgot to tell them something or anything like that. That's how you do it there.
Okay.
And you can also move people from one breakout room to another. I've never really had to do that, but you could. You can move them and they just kind of go into the breakout room. Okay. Sometimes people are not able to join the breakout room because they have weak internet. So I don't, if they still stay in the room or they get knocked off. So sometimes they'll get knocked off and you try to put them back in a breakout room and they just can't go. So, we just talk to them. But the breakout room, go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. It's just now. I didn't even notice if they was with your audio, but Tom Hunter Pratt, multimedia specialist, he has a real ear for that stuff where it doesn't bother me, but I can hear you.
No, but when I was in the breakout room, I couldn't hear Erica and she couldn't hear me. So that's my weird. Headphones must not be connected right or something. So, okay.
Here they come back.
Yeah.
All righty. Okay, so let's go back. Let's go to recreate. Let's go back to 2 breakout rooms. And Lonnie, please remove Erica, Margaret, and Leslie. Make sure your options still say 2 minutes and 10 seconds.
Because that not only leaves 1 in room 2, so I'm going to
you need
somebody over to room 2, okay, so that I have 2 in there. And then it's interesting because your options, they must be standard because it always comes up with the participants return to main menu checked off. So it didn't save our settings. This must be the standard, and I have to just go in and set them so that I'm organized with that. Okay.
All right. Good. So open all rooms.
Okay, I see that now. And then I would be either it automatically shuts off or I would be saying close all rooms. It's gonna automatically do that, right?
It depends. Sometimes you'll get a note says, "Are you ready to close? The breakout rooms are closing. Are you ready?" And you can hit yes.
Okay.
So, Lonnie, so you see on your thing, you have all these unassigned people. This might happen
Yep.
if you've done the breakout rooms and people come in late. So put Erica. So if you go up to Erica's name,
Yeah.
you hit assign to. So put Erica in room 1.
Mm-hmm. Oh, she just left.
And then put Leslie in room 2. And Margaret back in room 1. And Barbara did not join.
But they're still here, so I still,
I can't do it.
Okay. So
But I will
Margaret's
be able to
frozen,
do
so she's
Sunday.
she's
new.
not joined. Okay, there she
Okay.
went. She left. Okay, yep.
And
yep,
so
okay.
also, y'all, if you see up there where the numbers were, now it has the word join.
Yep.
So you can go into a breakout,
I could,
want to.
okay.
but both of y'all don't need to go in a breakout room.
And
Both
if we do, is
co-trainers.
there an option for me to come back out?
I think sometimes there isn't, sometimes there isn't. But also, if you're presenting and you go into a breakout room, your presentation will come down and you would just need to pull it back up.
Okay.
So, and you can also, there's a little button down at the bottom that says broadcast message to all. Say, oh, I forgot to assign a spokesperson. The spokesperson will be the person with the, shortest hair, whatever.
Right.
You can do that there as well.
Okay.
It's pretty easy.
Yeah, and it's pretty easy.
Okay, so now,
bring our close now. Yep. I'm
Uh-huh.
gonna say close now. Yep.
and
Okay.
then for the countdown, once the countdown starts, they can come back anytime.
Okay.
Sometimes people will go join the breakout rooms and they say they couldn't come back on their own. So that's why I'm sure there's a Zoomy reason why that happens, but I'm not sure. So Barbara, you're saying that you don't see the breakout room stuff?
No, I did see it when she sent me the invitation and I joined and Nancy did talk to me.
Okay.
Okay.
So can you see the breakout room icon on your toolbar
No,
down
I
at the bottom?
can't. No, on Sunday I'll be able to see that. I talked to my daughter-in-law and she'll help me out with that. We're
Okay.
gonna use a different computer.
Thank goodness for daughter-in-laws.
Well,
Wonderful.
smart ones.
Well, smart ones are good. So is everybody pretty comfortable with breakout rooms? Does anybody need to do it again? And thank you, Margaret, Erica, and Leslie, and Tom Hunter for letting us put you in and out of breakout rooms. Y'all are awesome. Does anybody have any questions about anything we went over, or do we need to do anything else? You have any more questions?
So now, will you be contacting us at all before Monday morning or?
You're on mute, sweetie.
I am? No, I'm
No,
not.
no, Leslie is.
While we've been on this meeting, I sent you another email. I've sent it to you before, but and I'll send it to you again early Monday morning.
Okay.
But sending you the Zoom link, and that's Sarah. So Sarah, one of our staff members, she's not here today. She'll be the one on there with y'all. And I gave you her cell number. She'll start the meeting out.
Mhm.
And then on Tuesday, I'll start the meeting out and you'll have my cell phone number.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I'll send it again to you first early. Might send it late Sunday night so that when you wake up, since you're an hour ahead of me, you'll have it.
Okay. Sounds good.